The Z to Z Podcast.
Good morning, good evening, or good day, and welcome to the Z to Z Podcast, the home for Xbox achievement hunters and Gamerscore junkies. I'm your host, Brandon Freeman. Thank you so much for listening. At Z to Z, we love gaming, and in particular, grabbing achievements and gaining Gamerscore. We do news, reviews, and interviews. If it's about achievements, we'll unlock it. You can find show notes for this show, as well as previous shows, on our website, z2z.com. This is episode 140. You can also contact us with questions or comments on Twitter, at Z2Z, or over at our forums, forum.z2z.com, or email us directly, contact@z2z.com. So it's a two-man show. We got Prue here. How you doing, Prue?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
Good. Are you well-rested after a delightful, long Labor Day weekend?
It was really nice, you know?
It was fantastic. I have not played so many video games in like one sitting. It was glorious.
Oh, that's right. Because you said that wasn't your wife going to be away or something? And
she had a baby shower all day, and even that evening, like I could stay up late on Sunday.
So what did you? You must have got a lot done.
Got a lot done. A lot in my UHH, actually. That was the big impetus for trying, because to get the community badge this time around, you were required to get 10 achievements in one of your lists. And so I got 6 in the first one. I mean, I had a roadmap for 10, but I just couldn't get it during the week, So if I don't start strong on the weekend, even this week, I had customers in all week, pulled a couple 12-hour days, and it's like there's just no time for gaming midweek. So after I got all I got in the weekend, that was it for my UHH. Like I'm looking at the list now, and it's like, yeah, I mean, there's some on there I could still go for if I wanted to boost my stats, but I'm happy with a 10-0 victory.
Now, is it, just out of curiosity, it's 10 achievements in any of the lists that you get at any point during the competition, right?
Correct.
Okay.
But it does have to be, you have to hit 10.
Okay.
So it can't be like 6 one week, 4 the next week.
Sure.
It's got to be 10 in one shot.
Okay.
So, and I got a pudding this week. So he scored 0 last week. And then he scored, I don't know, maybe he scored 1 by accident last week. Because he might have won 1-0. Or he lost 1-0.
Pudding versus pudding. Who will come out on top?
That's exactly it. So I had nobody pushing me, nothing like that. Like last week, I had a good matchup, and he went after him. But this week it's just me and my list, and it was fun. I enjoyed it. I can go through my games here in a little bit. How are you faring?
I'm doing well currently, and we record on Friday evening, so we're just right before the cutoff. I'm winning 8-4, and I was
all. It's gonna hold.
I think it's gonna hold. Yeah, he seemed super casual about it. It's really interesting. So that actually the second achievement on my list was for completing Disc 3 of the Lost Odyssey. I guess not the Lost Odyssey, but Lost Odyssey.
Yeah.
And God, I haven't played that game since I played it when it first came out, and I'm like, well, it's a 3-disc game. Presumably, that's pretty far into the game. Right. So I didn't even bother going for it. But he went for it, and he got it. So good on him.
That's pretty cool.
But he didn't hit it very hard, so it wasn't too tough to stay in front of him. And then last night I got a whole bunch. So 8-4 is good for me. This is the second week in a row my list has been kind of tough. So I'm really hoping I can hit my 10 next week, but we'll find out tomorrow morning, I guess.
Yeah. I was wrong. I had 11 this week. But like I got 1 here for finishing chapter 2 in episode 1 of like the third Walking Dead, right? The New Frontier. And it's like, okay, I could take 20 minutes and get that, but then but then I started The Walking Dead. Like I really should finish that, It's like I don't want to necessarily start that. And I got 1 in The Little Acre, which is it's like a 2-hour completion, or 40, an hour and 20-minute completion. It's like, I really want to go through that. No, I'll just wait. No big deal.
Do you have a lot of unstarted stuff in your pool?
I do, actually. Because I had to get into the list, I had to add a ton of games. And so I picked some that, like, I knew, I had no achievements in, and they would be relatively easy. So one of those games I can talk about right now was Brave, the video game. Disney Pixar's Brave, the video game.
I like that
There you
game.
go.
That game's solid.
It's not so bad. All I had to do was beat the prologue, get to the Ring of Stones there at the beginning. And so I ended up getting, 3 or 4 achievements for finding my bow and sword and doing the prologue thing and just kind of getting a feel for the game. And it's like, this isn't so bad. I had no interest in starting that, but I needed games like that have 50 achievements sitting there. Like that helps boost your pool up.
Oh yeah,
and it's like I'm not gonna do like a Master Chief collection because then I know my entire list is gonna be Master Chief, and it's like I absolutely don't want that. I want some variety and things that I can kind of chip away at. I don't have to focus on, and so Brave is a great example of that. Because I could just play a couple levels here or there, get whatever achievements I need, follow my walkthrough. It'd be nice and simple. But it handles relatively well. And so that was easy one. You know what one I started this week that was another one of those backwards compatible 50 achievement games. Bayonetta.
Oh, it's a little bit different than Brave, but
little different. Again, this one was for beating the prologue, that first level there. That game is messed up. Like, I've only played an hour so far, and it's like, I like those types of platinum hack and slashes. Those are fun. Like the reckless abandon that you mash buttons, and there's some type of dance to it kind of thing, but it's, what do they call it, gun kata or whatever. It's very interesting, and it's goofy, but like it has a lot of those just relics of like that time when it was made. Like that henchman guy, you've played it, right?
I have, yeah.
Yeah. So, and again, this is just the beginning of the story, but he's just like the fat, dopey mortal, with his goofy ponytail and glasses. About him, yeah. And it's like within 3 minutes, I was like, okay, I'm done with this character. This guy sucks. I don't see anything redeeming about him. I mean, he's just the foil for everything that Bayonetta is doing. And, and so like I'm just trying to pick up the story as it's going, and it's like, I don't know what's happening here.
Nah.
This is just nuts.
I beat the game, and I can tell you,
you still don't know what's going on.
Couldn't tell you anything about the story. I know that I like Bayonetta as a character. She's fun and sassy and cool, but the story, it's like you mentioned, it's very reminiscent of that era. It's like very like kind of classic Devil May Cry sort of thing, and it's super Japanese and like weird stuff that's always happening. You never understand, like there's no logic to any of it or flow. But yeah, the character's really fun and the gameplay is good. So
it's wild, and the gameplay is good. And so I'm sure because like both Brave and Bayonetta, those are going to be games that are going to keep showing up because people have them because of Games with Gold, and they maybe dived them back in July. And so if I get a matchup, it's like, hey, you got this game in common. Get that next thing. And so, that's a good one to kind of just chip away at. The problem with Bayonetta is that, you start forgetting the combos. You start forgetting how to play. Brave, pick up and play, not a problem. But Bayonetta, because I have Metal Gear Rising Revengeance is the same way. And it's like, I'm like 60% through that game. And oh boy, coming back to it is like I don't have a clue what I'm doing, and that just makes life super tough.
Another fun fact about Bayonetta, which this is all I could think about the whole time we started talking about Bayonetta, is that she will be featured in the upcoming Smash game as well. So I'm very, very one of the most unlikely characters to ever appear in a Nintendo title.
Agreed.
But there she is.
Because I didn't realize, I understood she was a sexualized character.
Oh, yeah.
But, I didn't realize until playing it, how much they push that. I thought it was just, she's, like you said, sassy and kind of a badass and, that was kind of the angle that they played it, but I didn't realize how much the sexuality came into the game. It is overt.
Yeah, and she uses her hair as a weapon, which oftentimes leaves her entire body exposed, so it's not uncommon that she gets pretty close to naked. So it's just, and that's just part of her, her character or whatever. But it's so funny. It's just so funny to put that into, where Mario and Donkey Kong are hanging out. So
absolutely. What before I keep going on my list, what'd you end up playing?
Well, I played a lot, so I don't know if we want to ping pong back and forth here.
Yeah, let's do it. Pick a few.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so well, yeah, I'll start. Well, since you're doing UHH, I'll do some of the UHH stuff I did. So here I am, Saturday morning, right before noon, because it's noon on Eastern time that it switches over for the new lists.
Yep.
And I'm ready. I'm getting hyped. I'm getting pumped. I know I'm going to get a better list than I did last week, because last week's list was terrible. And I didn't.
No.
I guess a slightly better list, but still, I mean, there are just, like, for example, the one I mentioned earlier that my opponent got, completing disc 3, to me seemed like a daunting task that it would take me all week to do if I wanted to devote all my time to just that one achievement.
Right.
And that was the second achievement on my list. So I was like, okay, so, let's salvage what we can. So the first achievement was in Call of Duty World at War. And it was just some mission, kill 3 guys with 1 headshot or something like that.
Sure.
Super easy. I got that right away. And then my opponent got it about 30 minutes later. And I'm like,
nice.
Oh man, this is going to be tough.
Yeah, right. He's going to take you to the wire.
Fortunately, that didn't happen. And he kind of gave up for 2 days after that. So it slowed down quite a bit. But so I played, I had 2 Call of Duty games on my list. I had World at War and the original Modern Warfare.
Wow.
Which I had to play a game on Veteran. One of the levels on Veteran. Which is super frustrating because you get into it and you don't remember anything about... You get the general mechanics of a Call of Duty game. It's not hard to forget those. But the specifics of, like, I could call in a chopper that I didn't know until about halfway through the run.
Yep.
You die so... And I'm used to playing Halo.
On Veteran, it's nuts.
Yeah, I'm used to playing Halo on Legendary. And so I'm like, I should be able to do one level of this without any problem. You die so freaking fast in Call of Duty on Veteran. It's stupid. It's so dumb how you walk out of a door and it's just like, you didn't have time to react. I guess I get the point, but it's like you have to play much more carefully than you do in something like Halo. So,
and like those level, like let's say on normal, maybe the level takes you 15 minutes. On Veteran, it takes you like an hour because you got to either go so slow or just hope for a good run. But like typically, you just take your time so slow and find the spawn point, and because they don't often have like the infinite spawns, but there are some spots that do. And so it's like at that point when you identify an infinite spawn, you just have to run as fast as you can and hope you trip the checkpoint.
Yeah. See, in my mind, because I have almost like gaming nightmares associated with Call of Duty 2, where I was stuck on a checkpoint for like weeks because of infinite spawns. I always assume that the bad guys in Call of Duty games are infinite spawns. And I don't know if they are or not, but it feels that way. Because it never feels like you're chipping away at them. It always feels like there's just more coming and coming and coming. And I'm like, so you're right. Like what I tend to do is push really hard and try to get as far as I can to trip some sort of checkpoint. So, I mean, it wasn't terrible. Honestly, I probably spent an hour and a half on the level.
Right.
But it was over 2 nights. And so it was just frustrating. But that was, I did it. No big deal. Wasn't awful. Let's see. I'll tell you the one that gave me the most problems, and then you can talk some more about what your list.
Sure.
I had one of my higher TA games was Batman Arkham Knight, and it was a title update achievement for the challenge rooms.
I forgot those count.
Yeah, they do. The infamous challenge rooms for getting a certain number of stars with a certain character, Azrael, which is some big Inquisitor dude that's like Batman but isn't Batman. Anyways, so I had to get I think 21 stars with him, and you can get 3 stars a level. Now, if you do it with the base game, there's like only so many levels, and you basically have to get at least 2 or 3 stars on each of the levels in order to possibly even have a chance. And I'm very, very lucky if I can get 3 stars on one of those challenges.
Yep.
So there's DLC, which gives you extra challenge rooms, which gives you extra opportunities to get 1-star stars, because that's all you're good at because you're terrible at this game. I do love the game, but I'm not good at it. So I'd already purchased some.
Everybody uses that combat now. You almost just know it because of everything.
Yeah, it feels that way. It really does. but I don't know what it is. I always I always miss some prompt or somebody in the corner that throws a crate at my face or whatever. But so I had already downloaded a bunch of DLC levels previously, and I was still just shy. I was like 18. So I reached low and I said, okay, I'll spend the $2 for the challenge map pack that I haven't paid for yet. And I did it, and it got me over the hump, and I got my achievement.
I want my $2.
I love those games. I really, really do. It's just not, it doesn't come naturally to me. It's a struggle for me to actually be halfway decent at them.
I remember when I was doing the completion for Arkham Asylum Game of the Year, and like just there were two of those challenge rooms, the fighting rooms that just were so tough to just get enough combos to get that point going. And I wrote a couple of guides for them because it was just like I pounded my head against it for so long, like that one sewer level where the ground is electrified, or I think it's the sewer anyway. And it was like because you have to get off that ground before it shocks you and breaks your combo and all that. And it's like, I mean, you just try and just try to get some fluid out of it and get the nice mix going. I liked it, especially because it was so intuitive when it first came out, and it was like, you don't have to be awesome at it to be successful, but if there is a skill to it where like it can be even more powerful if you can link things together, and like there's a fun difficulty curve that goes with that type of combat. And so like as you get to those challenge rooms, you realize what you're capable of. Like, that's exactly why they're there. They are challenging, and yeah, I get you. Especially, I mean, you could have spent hours practicing and still not have improved.
It's a real testament, honestly, to the actual game mechanics and design that you do feel like you're getting better. Like, for example, it seems like I'm always learning something. Every time I go back, I'm like, oh, I didn't even know I could use this move, and because you're given so many tools that you tend to forget. It's easy to just XXX, and then as soon as somebody comes at you, you hit the counter button. It's super easy to just get into that rut, and the game will constantly punish you for it. And but even outside of those initial tools, and then like the ones that are surrounding it, like jumping over people and the regular face buttons, if you can start to master even like just some of the other gadgets, it helps you in so many ways that you didn't even think about before. It's just tough. You have to kind of take it one at a time, and then start to find the applications. And like this time, it was like the back claw that I never really used that much.
Right.
But it's such a good opener, and then you can do a bunch of other stuff off of it. It's like the Arkham. I love the Arkham games. I do. I really do. It's just frustrating sometimes to go back and try to do those challenges. So did you get the completion on Arkham Asylum?
Arkham Asylum, the Game of the Year edition. I got the completion on that one.
Good on you.
Not recently, a long time ago, but mine was always the Batarang. Like I'd always forget to use that. Like if I couldn't extend a combo to a guy who's really far away, I would always forget to throw the Batarang to just give me enough time to run over to him and keep the combo alive. Like never crossed my mind. It was like, no, we got to link all these things together.
Yeah.
Anyway. Let's see. So I'm just looking at my list, and it's like you've seen my list. Like the ratios are so low. Like Chin Doctor would have this thing done in 45 minutes. Like it's super super simple. So like my easiest one was in World 2 Hunting Boss. Right? Isn't that mobile port? I just had to beat the first boss, that stupid lava monkey, with one guy, and it was like. I know that game is like a 4-hour completion, I think, just because you have to level up all 3 characters to get the full completion. But one boss, yeah, I can handle that. And then I had Mr. Pumpkin Adventure on mine.
Yeah, what a silly game.
All I had to do was do that, like ask for a hint and do that jumping thing at the beginning, which surprisingly I struggled with because I just didn't get the timing down. Like I was just rushing through it, and I was like, why do I keep screwing this up? It's like one button, just time it. stop being an idiot. Just time it. And anyway, I got that one. It was nothing special. One achievement which I spent the most time on because I actually cross-pollinated with my RTDL was in the game Knee Deep again. Didn't I mention this last week? I had some Knee Deep action.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, came up again, and so I still don't think I have the RTDL ones done yet. No, I don't. They're still sitting on my list, but I had a new one on my UHH list, which I'm just kind of chipping away at, and so I got one more there. But I had to play significantly deeper into the story, and it's just weird. I don't enjoy that game. And maybe if like I was playing it where, because when you play it to try to do it in one walkthrough, you have to, answer certain ways to trigger events so that you can continue to answer more ways and get, the belligerent answers and the strange answers and all these things over and over. And like, while I think their answers and responses are kind of funny, like the belligerent guy, this Jack Bellet, like every time he opens his mouth he just is a total dick to everybody. And it's like, that's kind of funny when he's just sweeping the floor and he's like, well, at least I don't have a janitor's job. It's like, you had no reason to say that, but like just to be a jerk. So I applaud you, Mr. Bellet. But like the strange answers one for this Ramona character, like it's just nonsense. And it's like, I don't even in the context of what she's saying, like some of them at least remotely answer the question or are in a direct response to whatever the other NPC is saying. But other times it's just like pulling a random sentence fragment out of a bag. It's like, what the hell is going on here? And so it's just so, again, because I'm not really paying attention, I'm just kind of playing through this visual novel. I'm not even bothering with what's going on. And then one more before I kick it back over to you was an Octodad achievement. Ooh. And I just so happened to be at the aquarium, and my son likes this game, and so I think he screwed up my no death playthrough because he didn't understand, and he got seen by microbiologists, and I couldn't dashboard fast enough, so I think I have to replay that whole section so that I don't know. I don't know how much I have to replay to get that achievement going for the completion. But this one was simply in the aquarium waiting in line and not cutting people, the no cutsies achievement, which is actually like, even if you get close to somebody or you hit a stanchion while you're walking and like the lady's like, hey, no cutting. And it's like, settle down, lady. I am still well behind you. Get your ticket. Give me my achievement. So that was pretty easy because I just happened to be right there. But like I said, I think my son wrecked my no death playthrough, so that's kind of a bummer. What about you? What else you got on your list?
Well, real quick before we do that, I was just looking at your list because you were talking about it, and
yeah.
Two things pop out of me. First of all, you have a Life is Strange achievement on your list that you didn't even go for.
I know, because again. That's a game I want to get into and enjoy that experience. And so, like, I don't want to... because I have 3 Telltale games on here, I think. No, 2. 2 Telltale and the Life is Strange one. And they're right away at the beginning. I mean, they're easy. Like, it would take 2 hours to get them total. But I don't want to start the story because I want to play through. Because, like, right now... I finished the first chapter of the Tales from the Borderlands, and because the rest of them are all DLC, none of them are going to show up on any of these. So like, there's no reason for me to go back and play it, and it's like 8 hours to just sit down and enjoy that experience. And it's like I just can't, because now I'll have to go back and replay the first one because I nearly forgot everything that had happened.
Yeah.
And so that's why I skipped those because I didn't need them. But that would be like good weekend fodder for me. Or if I choose to stay up late again at some point, I don't know.
And the other thing that popped out to me was, it actually bothers me now. Your highest TA achievement is a 1.81.
Yep, 1.8.
That's my 5th achievement on my list. My bottom achievement is 6.83. This is why I'm saying my list has been real tough, real brutal.
I mean, I don't even hit, like, how many is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have 12 achievements under a 1.2.
Yeah. I had one. No, wait, no, I don't. I have 0. My lowest was a 1.27. So.
Oh, I have 14 achievements below that.
Oh, my goodness. I don't know what it is. So I was talking to some other people about this and comparing lists. Maybe it has something to do because you mentioned earlier that you had to add a bunch of unstarted games. Maybe that's part of it because I only added like 1 or 2 just to get in.
Sure.
That might be part of it. I'm not sure.
And and a lot of these, like, because some of this stuff too, the ones that are showing up are games with golds and Games Pass stuff. And so, like,
okay, gotcha.
That's just, there's so much, they're so common, and like people just add them on Games Pass and don't play them, that they're sitting there at zeros like I have. And so, that's why so a lot of people I think are going to be sharing quite a few lists. It's not necessarily going to be a really great matchup like, that used to be in the past, because Games Pass, like, can, if you just have that box checked, you can match up with pretty much anybody then.
Yeah.
Because there's just so many games there, which is good. I mean, it's nice, but again, then you're just pulling from that list, and you hope they don't come off the service. I think Rich has a plan for that if that ever happens.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think that's definitely skews it because I don't put any of that stuff on there. If it's I basically just want to get back to stuff I've already started.
Right.
But okay, let's talk a little bit about the rest that I've unlocked. I hopped into a multiplayer game of BioShock 2 with Randy.
Oh yeah, it's his birthday today as of recording.
Happy birthday!
Or I guess tomorrow.
Yeah, close
tomorrow,
enough.
And it's my anniversary this weekend too.
Oh, happy anniversary!
12 years.
That's
a doozy.
That's pretty old.
Yeah, I feel really old.
Yeah. Well, congratulations to both of you.
For being born and having a wife.
And getting married a while ago. Yeah. So Randy helped me out. He got me I never played, or I think I played like 1 or 2 rounds of BioShock 2 when it first came out, but I needed one in that.
Oh, you had some multiplayer stuff to do in there?
Yep.
I thought all the multiplayer stuff in that like took a really long time to do.
It was literally complete your first trial in a non-private match.
Hey, that doesn't sound hard at all.
Nope. You just had to have enough people to start the lobby. And fortunately,
oh, geez, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. Fortunately, he was able to help me out with that. Speaking of multiplayer achievements, I got help as well from Big Al in BattleBlock Theater. I needed to get all the available weapons, and you can get them through trading.
Ooh, nice.
So he just gave me what he happened to have, and apparently 1 or 2 of them happened to be the ones that I was missing.
How many are there total?
I think
a lot?
12, I want to say. Something
like. Oh, okay. So not too bad.
No, not too bad.
Like, that would be really amazing if that was the queen.
Yeah,
like,
no.
Oh, yeah, there was like 200, and he gave me 4, and they just happened to fit in.
No, it wasn't bad. Let's see. I played, just going through these rapid fire now, I played a nice match of Civilization Revolution. One of my favorite games from the 360, and I kind of keep that uncompleted so that I can come back to it in times like this. Because any of the achievements I don't have are generally just for complete a match under these circumstances. And it's always fun to go back and play another round of Civilization Revolution. If I could ask for a new game, a sequel to a 360 game that we haven't gotten, I want Civ Rev 2. I love that game so much.
What about like Civ 6 or any of the Civs?
I like the casual nature of Civilization Revolution. Sure. It fits a controller-based game way better.
Yeah, I suppose.
I'm sure Civilization is great. I've never played any of the Civs games, but I kind of liked how it was streamlined and nice, and it just. I'm sure I'd probably love Civilization as well, but I just really loved Civilization Revolution, so that was fun to come back to. And I think finally, the only one I haven't talked about, I got an achievement in the Prince of Persia 360 game. Not the Prince of Persia that has a subtitle, and I can't remember the name of that one.
Sands of Time?
Was it Sands of Time?
That's one of them.
It wasn't that one. It was literally just Prince of Persia. That's it. And it's the cell shaded one. I don't know if they're all cell shaded, but I think there was only one that was cell shaded. And I got one in it last week, and I didn't have this disc for whatever reason. I must have lost it somewhere, and wasn't able to get that achievement then because I didn't have the disc. And then I got this one. And I'm like, God, fine, I'll just order it. And I ordered it, and it came in, and that was fairly easy. You just had to run from one place to another in a certain amount of time. And that was it. I had a bunch that I obviously didn't go for. My highest ratio one, like I said, was a 6, and that was in Chariot. But that was well beyond where I was in Chariot, and that game is tough for me to go back to.
That sounds tough. Like, I know, was it NBA Kirkland was all about that, and he's, so I think he completed it, but the amount of time it took him to get there just sounded ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a good game. I've played a few levels of it, and it's just one of those games that it's tough to get into, like really tough to be motivated to play it. I had
you can play that co-op though, couch co-op, right?
You can, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Does that do anything for you?
I haven't tried it. It would probably be fun. It's not too terribly intensive where it would be off-putting, but again, for some reason it doesn't feel compelling. I don't really feel the need to go back and play that game, even though it's decent. I don't know. It's weird. I had a couple of achievements, both Splosion Man and Miss Splosion Man, but I wasn't going for those. I had to do a whole playthrough of BioShock Infinite. Wasn't going to do that.
Oh, yeah, no.
And so that was basically my list, and I got 8. My opponent has 4 as of now, so I think I'm in the clear.
Nice. As far as the rest of my UHH goes, I got to play some more Back to the Future, the game.
Ugh.
And it just so happened that where I needed to go also coincided with an RTDL achievement, so I got both of those with, another hour of playing that game. It's fine. That's one of those Telltale ones I'm not super concerned about taking my time through. Especially because, that's more of a classic point and click, like a Sierra Games point and click, versus a narrative story that you really need to follow. And then I had a Hand of Fate one of my quote unquote most difficult. Was just reflecting a projectile and killing an enemy with it, and so I just was playing a few rounds until I found a spot where I could get some dudes throwing stuff at me, and they were having me 2 rat dudes. I killed all the scrubs, and then it just sat across the board and kept reflecting and countering until they both died. Only needed 1, but I got both, and that was nice. I had to play essentially the beginning of The Cave. If you remember, this is I think it was one of the first 360 XBLA games to get that 400. It was kind of right around that time, and this thing came out at 400. It was a little bit of a bigger game, Double Fine game. So,
I didn't know it was a Double Fine game.
Yeah, very funny and just kind of quirky, like their sense of humor is. And so I had to steal the postcard, but you had to go through the tutorial area, so he would open the door for you. So I'm now enter into the cave, but that game is fun. I like playing that one. And then the 2 that I probably spent the most time on this list was Titanfall 2 has been coming up quite a bit. I played it last week. I mentioned that. And so another one showed up here on my list. I do have one on my random to-do list as well, but it's one of these, like, you got to be good at the game to do it, versus my UHH one is just keep playing the campaign. So I got that one. Have you played Titanfall 2?
I haven't. I was just going to ask what your thoughts on it were.
So far, so good. It is super good. And like the campaign levels are really well thought out, and like each progressive level kind of adds just this kind of new little wrinkle to it. And I'm at a point like so this factory that I'm in, like they're making houses on this big assembly line, and like so you're like riding around on these while they're building the houses around you, and it's super cool. It's really interesting. And then when they get to the end, they hang them, like they're ready to be used, and so they hang them vertically, and then just this AI is like, hey, you want to escape, you got to climb these houses. So you're like climbing the houses sideways. It's just weird and fun. So you're kind of wall running like on the street past a fire hydrant, and then anyway, it's really cool. And then at the end, there's this boss fight that I was like, oh, I'll just finish this, and so I start the next chapter. I played that boss fight about I don't know, 20 to 30 times. I cannot beat it. It is very difficult. Because I trying to do this on one playthrough, and so you have to set it to master difficulty. And that it's been easy so far with like the scrubs, but now I'm to a point where I may have hit my skill ceiling.
But Freem, you have so much experience in Titanfall. Surely you'd be able to beat this.
I do. I am a very good gamer. But this is just, it's maybe a little tricky for me right now. And I think like I made some decent progress on a few runs, but because you can only get hit a couple of times, like you got to have a really good run. I will say it is exciting. My heart is racing. I was playing a little late one night to like try and finish this battle off, and I remember like getting ready to go upstairs to bed with maybe a little moisture on my brow. Like I was, it was intense. I was sweating a little bit. So that was it. It's a very good game. It's very good, and you can always drop the difficulty mid game. And so like when I would pause it to be like, I need to take a breather, and right there on the pause menu, change difficulty? Question mark. And I'm like, you just taunting me. Get out of here with that.
Don't do it, Freem. I believe in you.
No,
you can.
I can power through, because I guarantee next week a chapter 5 achievement is going to show up on my list. I just know it. It's going to happen. It's a popular enough game where it probably will be there. And then the last UHH one I'll talk about, and I did some RTDL stuff, but the last UHH is Slime Rancher.
Well, yeah.
This was that Games with Gold. Did you ever play this?
No, not at all.
So it's a first-person game, and you have this essentially a vacuum gun, and you just walk around sucking up these slimes, and then you can kind of shoot them into these little chambers. But the slimes, they don't want to stay in there, and so if like you put too many in, they kind of just climb up on each other and jump out the top, and they're just a real handful. They are up all in your business all the time, and I played for a little bit. I probably played for like 2 hours or so. Because my achievement was staying awake from 6 a.m. to 6 a.m. the next day, which means you have to just be alive and not die. And that turned out to be more difficult because I'm reckless than I needed to be. Like I literally could have just stayed in the town for the amount of time I needed. But I was like, oh, I'll play and experience the game and whatnot. I got killed a few times. I jumped off a cliff once because I knew I missed it. So I was like, oh, well, there's an achievement for jumping off the cliff before 10 a.m. I can do that. And then every time you die, it resets your day. So you have to go all the way back and do that or whatever. But my kids came down when I was finishing this thing up, and they were just like, what is this? I was like, it's called Slime Rancher. And my son is like, well, so what do you do? Can you get that? What's it? And I'm like, buddy, I am right there with you. I have no idea what's going on. I literally just picked this thing up. And the next morning I come down and he is like, he's got twice as many achievements as I do in the game. He started up his own tag and he's like, oh, I've got like 7 more different slime types than you. I've opened up 2 other areas. He's like, he is invested now in this game. So that's fun. It's cute and it's very approachable for a younger crowd. It's kind of, it's a very scaled back kind of Pokemon where you got to go suck up different types of slimes, and you can kind of breed them, like if you mash them together. I
think that's how it works in the real world. Yeah.
Yeah, you just slam slimes together, and then they get they get giant, and they share pieces of both of them. It's great, and so yeah, he's having a lot of fun with that, which is cool. The one thing that bothers me is 'cause now he knows, like, he's at least interested in tags or in achievements, and so he has his own. He keeps switching over to his own tag, so he's not helping Dad out anymore.
Oh, yeah.
He knows better now. He will sign me out so fast.
Hey, if I don't know if you have a Connect on your Xbox, but it'd do it automatically if you walked in there.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. As far as random to-do list stuff I did this week, I had a quick one in Paladin that I needed to do, and I did some Turn On. We had talked about that before as just a great game for achievements because there's like 80 some in that game.
Oh yeah,
and they come so fast.
Lots and lots and lots. Yeah,
fly at you. And so I played maybe 4 or 5 levels and ended up with a dozen achievements. It was great. I got both of my random to-do list ones off of that. And then the last thing I played was last night. I have a random to-do list for in Plague Inc. Evolved, and I need to unlock the cheat modes, which you have to beat all of the disease types on normal, and I have 2 disease types left to do to get that, and one of them is the zombie one. I played on casual, and I beat it on casual, so I got the achievements for beating on casual, but there's so many, side achievements that you get, like if you make your zombies so that they have this acid reflux thing, you get the spitter combo, and that's an achievement. Or if you have you bulk them up with, I think it's a peptide strain, and then you give them monstrous growth and cranial distortion or something, you get the tank achievement, where you essentially make all the Left 4 Dead specials by putting all these weird symptoms and modifications together. So I tried. You have to beat it on normal, and I've tried 4 games in a row, and I definitely got the world eliminated, except for stupid Greenland. I cannot crack Greenland. I wiped out the planet except for 3,429 people living in Greenland.
I think Genghis Khan had that same problem.
Yeah, every time I sent hordes of zombies across the Baltic Sea, they would just hit the shores and infect, a couple hundred people, and they couldn't get any traction. They're too spread out. I don't know what's going on in Greenland, but man, they are zombie proof. So that's frustrating. But I'll have to crack that nut, and then I got to do I think the Prion is next, and then after that, I get the achievement. So the playthroughs are only 10, 15 minutes on those, so it's nothing too difficult if I'm just trying to mainline it. But I need to figure out what's the best approach to winning that game, because there's actually a way to win the zombie one without actually making any zombies. You can just make your Necroa virus, it spreads through saliva, but when people die, they just die. Until you mutate the ability for the dead to come back to life, you're fine. And so you can actually make a lethal virus. And there's an achievement for that too. So maybe that's the approach I go. Just infect the population and then crank up all the diseases to make them just collapse and die. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm definitely going to try it for that one. Maybe tonight after recording. I have that and a Battleborn one. A lore challenge tonight, because I'm not gonna do any more on my UHH. So I got those 2 on my RTDL, and it's the likelihood of those even remotely coming close on, especially the Battleborn one. It is an end game single point achievement. You can't work toward it on anyone else. So the likelihood of that individual achievement showing up on my UHH list is near 0. So just going to get out of the way. And I happen to have 4 of the 5 legs of that done. I was actually just listening I finally caught up to the point where we started recording again right after the 4th of July. And so I'm listening to the Z to Z podcast from back in July. And Kush Moose was talking about all the Battleborn action. I was like, oh, that's fun. It's nice to go back and listen. I used to listen to them right away, and now it's kind of fun to let them come up naturally when we're talking about all the same news things in that cycle, and just seeing what our approach was. Because I don't think I'm really learning that much from listening to it right away, especially after recording it right away. Anyway, that's a little inside baseball.
Yeah.
But I'm super excited for my list. So far on Random To-Do List, I've got 4 achievements. Got some just, easy ones. Nothing special on those. But I'm hoping that Knee Deep one comes up.
Yeah.
But I don't like my RTDL list. There's a lot of late game stuff.
I had an interesting phenomenon this week where I was kind of at the point where I really couldn't. I was kind of over trying to get some stuff for UHH, and I'm like, I can go for an achievement or two in just some random game. So let me look at my UHH, or I'm sorry, let me look at my RTDL, and I did, and then I hesitated, and I'm like, but what if I get one of these games for next week's UHH? So I kind of stopped at that point and picked something else. I don't know. I'm hoping for crossover. I really want crossover.
It's exactly I was thinking the same thing, and we were talking about Nier Automata, and it happened to go on sale just recently, and it was even it was I think it was only 40%. I mean that's still a significant sale, and the game intrigues me so much that it's I would have bought that, but the fact that UHH is giving me new achievements to target each week, I wouldn't play it until after this is done, which is November. And it's well, if it was on sale now, you can bet it's going to be on sale for Black Friday or the Christmas sale. Whatever it's going to be. I will pick it up in November or December whenever it hits that target price again, because I 100% believe it's going to be back on that list. And so, I can wait because, yeah, you got this list, and it's well, if I buy it now, it's definitely not going to show up. So what's the point? And I'm not going to be able to focus on it. So I let it slide. But yeah, I had that same phenomenon. That's why it's I'm looking at these achievements where it's I have one for Shovel Knight. And it's well, yeah, Shovel Knight's pretty popular. Maybe that'll show up.
He's also in Smash, by the way.
Is he?
He's an assist trophy. He's not a character.
Oh, okay. I was going to say.
But he's the only independently developed character that's in Smash Brothers. Interestingly enough.
There you go.
Yeah.
The Dead Cells character is going to be coming out for Brawlout.
Oh, I saw that, yeah.
Yeah, he looks pretty cool. He's not coming out. I think he comes out in about 2 weeks.
Does he have a name? But, is the character named in the game?
They just call him Dead Cells.
Okay.
No, he doesn't have a name. He's the nameless blob of cells. But in one of the screens, his special attack was a shovel. He swings a shovel like a golf club to hit a guy. And that leads me to believe that an alternate skin might be Shovel Knight. And that they would kind of, what Smash Brothers is calling an echo character.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
That it might be like that. Because I don't know if you're familiar with the Brawlout cast of characters, but Paco the Frog he's got 4 arms, and he's a luchador frog. But there is a similar character, at least in model and movement. He has different specials and attacks, but the way he's modeled and the way he moves is Mako, which is a 4-armed shark. And so, the character similarities are there, but they jazz up their special moves a little bit, which is kind of cool. The guy I was playing, Tyson, or Olaf Tyson, the Walrus. He's a cold guy, but I unlocked the skin for Tutua, where he looks like Maui from Moana, and he, instead of sliding on ice, he whips out a surfboard and boogie boards into the guy. And so, it's just kind of fun stuff like that. So, anyway, when I saw the Dead Cells animation, I thought, I wonder if they're trying to court, Shovel Knight as a secondary character, so they wouldn't have to tweak his moveset as much. But anyway.
Shovel Knight also shows up in Yooka-Laylee, who is also featured in Brawlout. So, there you go.
And didn't Shovel Knight show up in Battletoads, or Battletoads showed up in Shovel Knight or something?
I can't remember. I've never
played.
They
met somewhere too.
Yeah, it's definitely possible.
And I can't remember where. He's gonna show. I bet he'll show up in Sea of Thieves at one point.
Maybe
he's got a shovel. He'll just be out in the world.
Oh yeah,
We
that
didn't
would
talk
make
about
sense.
that last week, but they had some update. They got that for Forgotten Shores coming up here soon. I keep seeing clips for it, and it's like I should go revisit that game, and I never do.
Maybe they should have called the update "Forgotten Game."
Ew.
Ew.
Sucks to be them.
Hey, there's a couple of games that I just want to go over that weren't on my UHH real quick.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So there's a game called Video Kid. Did you hear about this week?
I did. It's like an 80s throwback game.
It's it's Paperboy.
Yep.
Exactly Paperboy. But all of the
But isn't the art aesthetic like a Crossy Road kind of blocky looking thing?
yeah, it's very blocky. But it's Paperboy where all of the obstacles are references to things in the 80s and the 90s. So instead of a dog running across the street that you trip over, there's a Baywatch lady. There's a lot of Transformers, and there's actually a Star Trek reference in there as well. Lots of E.T. and Peanuts, and like just tons of it's all just slightly off too. So of course,
it's like constant, right?
It's constant.
Like everything.
Every single thing that you run into, you have to go into the sewers twice in the game, and of course the turtles are down there.
Yeah.
So it's just a game full of just barely recognizable references that they could get away with legally. Like Fraggle Rock is in there too, which I appreciated. But anyways, it probably took me 2 hours to complete the game. And of that time, it probably took me 1 hour and 35 minutes to actually beat the game.
Yeah.
It was a really interesting phenomenon where it was very frustrating. It was a terribly frustrating game. But as soon as you beat it, because you actually have to beat it 3 times for an achievement, and then kind of grind it out a little bit after that anyways. As soon as you beat it, it's cake. It becomes instantly easy to you. It was like a revelatory experience.
Yeah.
As soon as I hit the end, I'm like, okay, I got this. And I did it 2 times after that. And like I'd literally probably tried beating the game I'd say 25 times, 30 times. And then the first time that I beat it, I was like, I got this. This is a joke. I can do this I can do this in my sleep now. So it's actually kind of interesting. It was a kind of an interesting experience. There was some glitch, I think, where it was free for a while on the marketplace.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know about that.
So I did get it for free. I don't know what was going on, but I did, and I beat it. And it's a solid little game, though. It's not bad. Just be prepared to be frustrated for the first while.
Right.
2 other games that I just really, really quickly wanted to talk about. I played Don't Sink. Did you hear about this game?
No, that doesn't ring a bell at all.
Yeah. So it's another sub 2 hour game. It's a 2D pirate. I guess you'd call it pirate simulation game, where you're given a map with a bunch of islands, and you have to kind of get a crew and a bigger ship, and then you get random pirate encounters, and you can take over islands and plunder, and very simplistic, super 8-bit.
Okay.
It's okay. It's not bad. It's a fine, very small experience.
Sounds like a phone game.
It could have been. I wouldn't be surprised if it was, but I'd never heard anything about that.
Sure.
I could definitely see that being the case. But like, so if you see there's an island here and you have a quest on the island way over there, and because it's further, that takes longer to get to. Right. So if the longer you're out at sea, the more random events happen to you, like battles, or, oh, hey, you found an island with treasure on it. Do you want to go there? Oh, and you go there, you choose to go there. Maybe half your crew dies on the way or whatever. That sort of stuff.
As you do.
As you do. It's cutesy. It's fine. It's quick. And it didn't overstay its welcome, so it was okay. And then the last game I wanted to really quick I talked about was Full Blast, which is a $5 game from our favorite developer now. Quickly becoming one of our favorite developers. Ratalaika? If you've played Explosion, If you've
Gotcha.
played Super Destronaut DX or Tetris Escape, this is another game. This is a 2D top-down vertical shoot 'em up that took less than 45 minutes.
Oh, jeez.
You have to play through 3 levels, and that's it.
I mean, that's like the extent of the game, or that's just where the achievements run out?
Presumably, there's more to the game, but that's there. That is exactly where the achievements stop. So it's a $5 game. It's on discount right now for like $4.79 or something. That is that. There's literally nothing else to say. Actually, there's one thing to say. It was obviously deliberately letterboxed. So it tries to give you the impression that it actually is an older game that came from a time when the aspect ratio was 4:3, but it's not. So I don't know why they did that. It's weird.
Do they put like the brackets on when you say letterbox, is it across the top? Is the side? You said it was vertical, right?
Yes.
Do they put it on the sides?
They put it on the sides. Yeah.
Okay.
So the bars
Do
are
they
on the
put
sides.
like a fake arcade cabinet over there?
I can't even remember, honestly. I played this yesterday, I think, and I don't remember what's actually on the sides. I'm almost positive it's not just black space. So I think that it's some sort of illustration of something, but I noticed it and it annoyed me, and then I didn't give it any more thought.
Nice.
I just was like, why are they doing this? Like they have the ability to utilize the whole screen. Why? But I guess it's just because they wanted the vertical thing and the experience. Okay, cool. Yeah, I guess, but
that seems like a lot of unused real estate on a 16:9. Like,
yeah.
Especially going vertically, it's like, hey, could you just tip your TV sideways? This would work really well.
Exactly. It was fine.
Because that would actually be kind of cool. Like if you could do that.
That would be
and play up that aspect ratio.
That would be asking a lot of people.
Yeah, that would. It's not a swivel, right? Just tip it sideways. Speaking, you mentioned things that things to do for no reason. Harry Potter is being re-released.
Not just Harry Potter, Freem.
Oh, Lego Harry Potter.
Potter.
It's a totally different world.
Well, it's a little blockier, a little more colorful. Yes, so Lego Harry Potter, which was first on the 360, it was separated between years 1 through 4 and then 5 through 7, is being recompiled into a little bit of a collection for the Xbox One. They're doing the whole remaster sort of thing and all on one disc sort of stuff. I'm hoping, I don't think it's been confirmed yet, I'm hoping for still 2,000 points.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, but this is actually one of my favorite Lego games, so I'm really excited about it either way.
So I think one, and this might be a little divisive, but one of the things I don't like about it is the lack of voice acting. Where do you fall on it?
Yeah, going back now, it seems a little dated for that reason.
Yeah,
I guess
but some people like it because you have to do more with the physical comedy. Because you can't tell a joke. You have to show a joke, and a lot of the and they're just making goofy sounds all the time. Some people like that.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. There's actually been 2 big major shifts in Traveler Tales storytelling over the years. The first, and less significant now, was the change from mumble, 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 to actual lines used in the movies and stuff.
Yeah.
The more significant one, I think, and which is going to be harder to deal with now, is they actually are making unique original stories.
Oh, yeah.
So that's the thing. They're not just cutting clips from whatever.
Sure.
They're actually, most of the time at least, they're actually doing, there's the one that's upcoming. Actually, I'm not sure what they did with Incredibles. I don't know if they did the audio stuff or if they
had voice actors.
Yeah, they had the voice actors come in. But with a lot of their new stuff, it's actually original stories. I don't know. I don't care either way. It's interesting to go back to those classic Lego days where they are just mumbly bumbly and tripping on banana peels and stuff.
I think the third thing that this is prior to as well is hub worlds. This Lego doesn't have a hub world.
Oh, it does. It absolutely does.
That house is so small.
Yes,
Hogwarts.
it is Hogwarts.
Is not. I would not consider that a hub.
All
world.
right, that's fair. Okay.
I mean, okay,
it's not
look,
anything like Lego Marvel, where it was all of New York City. Yes.
Right.
but-
Okay. It's a hub living room.
That's fair. I would call it a hub Great Hall, if you will.
Sure. Because it is. Yeah. What? There's like 5 rooms, maybe. I don't know. I get what you're saying, but I don't feel like you said. All of Manhattan. The Incredibles is all of Metropolis. No, that's
Superman.
That's a different one. What is it? It's called? It's something like that, though.
I don't. It definitely invokes it. I can't remember the name of the city.
It's like Metro Town or something. Boy, I gotta look it up now. Incredibles Town. Yeah, because what was the one with Megamind?
Megamind?
Yeah. Do you remember Megamind with the big purple headed dude? And
There was a
Brad
game
Pitt?
there was not a Lego Megamind game though. That's
No,
fun.
not a Lego one. I'm saying the world, but I think that was also like a Metropolis type because he said the name wrong, and that's how Megamind knew he was no. That's how Wonder Guy. Oh man, how am I screwing this movie up so bad? Incredibles city name because
Tough to find the city name. I'm trying to find it too.
Metroville.
Okay.
That's what it is. So what's Megamind's then?
Apparently, The Incredibles takes place in 1962.
Metro City. That's right, because Megamind kept saying Metrocity. He would call it Metrocity.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, gotcha.
And so then, what's his name? The good guy, Metro Man, heard him say that, and so he knew.
I never saw that film, so
Oh, it was good. It was pretty funny.
I did beat the game though. Completed that game, so
That's another that was kind of the tail end of movie tie-in games.
yeah, for sure.
I was circling the drain on that one. What else we got in the news? There was another game that was released. How would you classify this as a release? Because I thought there was a Final Fantasy 15 that was already out.
Well, this is the Final Fantasy 15 final.
Oh, the last one.
Final. So
did they lose the graphics along the way?
they did.
What?
They did. This is a really interesting case because Final Fantasy 15 came out on the Xbox One. I don't know, 2-3 years ago, maybe now, and
2 years ago Christmas.
there you go. And so Final Fantasy games are kind of a big deal. I don't know if you ever heard of that series before, but they're a pretty big deal. And
So they made 15 plus of them.
plus. I mean, that's
Plus.
not even close to how many they've actually made. But so they decided at the time, or near that they wanted to put it on mobile. But of course, you can't do that because Final Fantasy is kind of known for its flashy graphics and all of these intricate systems and stuff. So they simplified it, and they released Final Fantasy 15. What was it called? Pocket Mobile.
Pocket Edition.
Pocket Edition. So we've come now full circle where they're going to re-release Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition onto the Xbox and PlayStation as well. Which begs the question, of course, why?
Yeah.
You now have the choice to play Final Fantasy 15 or Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition on your Xbox. What do you pick, Freem?
Well, here's the thing. My Xbox does not fit in my pocket. It is really too big. So, and the reason for the Pocket Edition was so that people could play it on their phone. And they scaled the hell out of the graphics. They made everybody look chibi. They took out all the good stuff and made it a really linear whatever. I don't know if I want to play that. Because I got to see that mechanic lady in all her scantily clad jumpsuit glory. I don't want to see a chibi version of that person. No, it's just. I guess though, and if I saw the two achievement lists next to each other, and they said, "Hey, all right, what's the completion time on Final Fantasy 15?" Let me look that up because I would imagine it's pretty significant. Because plus you had all those extra DLCs, So they got a base game at 60 to 80 hours here on trueachievements.com. So, that's a lot. I really, really get involved. Pocket Edition, well, nobody's played it enough to find out. So I don't have any time on here because only 18 people have started it so far because it's brand new. But if it's not going to be 60 to 80.
It's like the only people this could be marketed towards is Ultra Final Fantasy 15 fans. Not even just generic Final Fantasy fans. Because they would have played Final Fantasy 15 and been like, okay, that's good for me. But like you'd have to be a super fan of that specific game to be like, not only did I play through it once or maybe twice or 3 times or whatever, but I now want to play through this watered down, ugly looking version of the game instead of just replaying again and again. I don't know. Like even that gamer you would think would just prefer to play the actual original game over again. To be fair, and we should say this, neither of us have played the game, either of these games. So we don't know, maybe there's some nuance or intricacies that we're missing. It just, to us, doesn't seem to make very much sense. Gotcha.
So, if you were wondering, I am on thefinalfantasy.com, and now there are plenty of games that have not been released yet. Well, not that many, actually. But, according to this list, there are 101 versions of Final Fantasy. Different games of Final Fantasy. Not you'd say, well, there's the Xbox One version and the PlayStation 4 version. Those don't count. Individual games in the Final Fantasy franchise, of which only 15 are mainline, and then there's a few of those sequel things in there, but like they got some goofy ones in here. Like, you remember Mystic Quest back on the Super Nintendo?
Oh, yeah.
Crystal Chronicles was one of them, and this is a total. This isn't just video games, because they have like Final Fantasy: Legend of the Crystals, the anime that released in March 21st of 1994, or Final Fantasy: Spirits Within that you could find in the movie theaters July 2nd. They have this goofy date thing. 2001. Man, I remember in 2001 when Spirits Within came out. Did you ever see that? How old were you in 2001?
In 2001, I would have been, 14?
I was 20.
Yeah.
And so I remember when that came out, and I saw that in the theaters, and I was like, this animation is the most amazing thing I've ever seen.
I saw that movie in the theaters, yeah.
Yeah, I did too.
It was terrible. It was very boring.
The movie was garbage. Yeah, I didn't care for it at all. But I remember the visuals just blew me away because, like, all of the computer-generated stuff you had seen before that was pretty crap. Like, you could tell it was either super cartoony, or if they mixed it with live action, it didn't look real at all. Where I thought that one was, like, from an artistry standpoint, they made animated humans look really nice. It looks terrible. It did not age well.
Yeah, I can't imagine it did. Yeah.
A lot of things with graphics don't. But, yeah, there's a ton of stuff out here. A lot of PSP games, mobile games.
Yeah. So anyways, just in case you're wondering, Final Fantasy 15 mobile version is now coming to Xbox One, if you care.
And it's actually Windows 10 crossplay.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
So you could play it on your computer, which that actually is more intriguing to me than anything. Because then because if I'm near my Xbox, I'm going to play an Xbox game, but I don't have a lot of games on my computer that I could, especially turn-based ones.
If it had achievements when it was just a mobile game, I definitely would have played it already.
Sure.
But that's life.
Such is life. What's the last thing I think we want to touch on for tonight is THQ Nordic. Man, they're bringing the band back together. We talked about this before when they were gobbling up, Vigil Games. Then they kind of merged into Nordic Games. And then they bought up all of THQ's things. We're like, you know what? We're pretty much just THQ now. Let's just be THQ Nordic. And then they said, well, if we're going to take the name THQ, we might as well just get every single property that THQ ever was a part of. Let's buy Volition and, Deep Silver and take all those things back. Well, they're not done. They grabbed another franchise, long dead franchise. Well, maybe not that long, but certainly dead. Kingdoms of Amalur. The IP is now theirs. Did they get the IP from 38 Studios, or did they get the IP from the state of Rhode Island? Who owned the rights to that?
That football dude.
Oh, baseball.
Baseball. Sorry.
Kurt Schilling.
Hey, listen. Football season just started. Okay, it was a big deal apparently here. I don't know. People watched it. Whatever.
Sure did.
Now it feels like they're all football people. I don't know. That's an interesting question because. Presumably Rhode Island did own all of those assets for a good chunk of time. I'm sure it was, probably that's where they got it from, right? Because that's what
I would have to think because, the 38 Studios went bankrupt. Either they went bankrupt or they were just closed because they couldn't pay back the state of Rhode Island.
Yeah.
They took that huge loan out and then they shipped the game. They couldn't finish the game properly. I mean, they still released the game, but it didn't make any money. Nobody cared for it, and they couldn't pay back, and they defaulted on their loan. So I think that means the state got all the assets?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not good at IP law, so I don't know if they get to retain anything, but I felt like if the state of Rhode Island owns 38 Studios, I think they own everything comes with it.
And if that's the case, I'm surprised that it's been so long since we've heard about anything, because certainly Rhode Island doesn't have any interest in owning something like this. Why do they, get rid of it as soon as you can, make whatever money you can off of it? Yeah,
really. What's Rhode Island going to do sitting on it?
Yeah, but okay, good news for this. It's such an interesting situation, and unlike really anything else that we have, have you played Kingdoms of Amalur?
I have 2 achievements in it. I played it briefly. I enjoyed what I played at the beginning, and I did it as part of a dive, the bean dive, like a legitimate bean dive. I think first time played was February 14th, and so that's when I dived that 130 games in the middle of February. I think it was over spring break, and maybe not. Maybe it's just the middle of February, and so I dived it then. And I remember it took me an hour to get to a point where the first achievement popped, and I was like, "Oh, I like this. I'll have to remember to come back to it." Nope, never did.
Yeah, I have 9 achievements. I tend to go back for things like RTDL. But yeah, I don't know. I guess it's okay. Maybe there could be something they could dig out of the bones here and make a good game. But this is so far into the future, it's kind of silly to even speculate.
Well, there was talk in the article, the True Achievements article by Andy Mills there. He said that apparently there was an MMO RPG that they were working on called Copernicus. And that maybe the assets there, they could resurrect that. Now, when the hell did that game come out? I mean,
it came out in 2012.
Okay. So something tells me that maybe those assets aren't really going to be of much use if you did end up getting that. Yeah, you're probably right. They probably did need to start over.
Yeah, the game was originally envisioned as an MMO. And they realized that was too ambitious. Probably too late since they went bankrupt anyways. But they realized that was too ambitious for their plan, so they stripped out all of the MMO part of the game and tried to make it a single-player experience. To mixed results. I know there were plenty of people that did enjoy the game, but it was obviously something that was meant for something different. And so what we got was this single-player experience, but I think the plan was always to kind of get back to that MMO game. So I guess I don't even know at this point. You're right. You don't want digital assets from 2012. They're not going to do you any good. They're totally useless. So
yeah. But you do have like the framework of the game, or maybe they had some design concepts. Like, an idea can still be salvaged and, a base point to build on and just make new art assets and then, tweak the engine and do stuff like that. Like, maybe you gained a month worth of work. But, in the grand scheme of things, when you're trying to create something over the course of 3 years, like, what's 1 month? I'm sure it helps. But
I'm wondering if
have
it's
to do so much fixing that what's the point?
Yeah, my more cynical side is saying, are we going to get a Kingdoms of Amalur re-release? And I don't even know if it would even do that well. I mean, I guess if they got a real steal on the IP and the source code, they could slap it together pretty quickly. But
up-res the graphics.
Yeah, even then, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the end game is, because nobody's there. I don't know, Free. You and I imagine that we both spend a lot of time scouring the internet for gaming news. I don't think very many people are really itching for Amalur 2.
Clamoring for Kings of Amalur? No, I'm not entirely sure.
I don't know what the long play is here. There's got to be something, or they got it for like $10 and it was like, oh, okay, we'll just take it since we can have it. So I don't know. We'll see.
THQ Nordic does have a large collection of mid-tier type games, so who knows what they're going to end up doing with all this stuff after buying Koch Media and all that kind of stuff. They're stockpiling IP. They're going to be like the new Midway. Just hopefully they manage their assets a little bit better.
They'll just throw all of their like B tier things on one disc or one bundle, and you can get like Kingdoms of Amalur and all these other forgotten games that you totally played
don't care
10
about.
years ago but don't care about.
Did you say this game came out in 2012?
It did, yeah.
So I was just thinking of like, in my head, okay, well 2012, MMO scene. I mean, that was still a while ago, but there were still plenty of MMOs, and I just think like, oh, they're probably just trying to copy World of Warcraft. And then I was like, well, when did World of Warcraft come out? Because I never played World of Warcraft. Were you?
6?
Were you World of Warcraft guy?
No, it was a game I always picked up for about a week and then dropped. Yeah. And then I picked it up 6 months later for another 2 weeks, and then I dropped it. So I never was a heavy WoW player, but I think it was like...
I never did. Initial release date, November 23rd, 2004.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, early.
Oh my God.
And they just released a new expansion.
Yep.
It's wild. It's crazy.
It's just nuts. Like, I know there's always talk about like we should, because they're adding to it and they're extending the life. People are paying subscriptions for that, keeping it going. But like at this point, the architecture with which it's built upon, like I just envisioned like, when you were in grade school and you had to build a bridge out of toothpicks and then hang weights from them. And it's like, oh, please, God, don't break. Don't add any more weight. Like, we can't possibly support anything else.
It's almost wild. Surprising it hasn't been ported to mobile devices at this point.
Right? Yeah, that would be something. Oh, I forgot to tell you. So... with school starting this week after, Labor Day, so my kids went back to school. It was Labor Day weekend, and, I was like, listen, bud, when you go back to school, there's going to be some talk about Fortnite. And I know we don't let you play it, but mainly because I haven't played it. So I think this weekend, like, I can't in my right mind let you go into 4th grade without having a cursory knowledge of Fortnite.
We talked about this last week.
Oh, did we?
Yeah.
So I actually played it.
Okay. All right.
I didn't talk about that.
No. Okay.
I sat down and it was bad. Like,
as in,
well, let me put it this way. I am bad.
Okay.
At that game.
That's what I assumed because
I did not enjoy myself at all. I played 2 rounds. And it was, games like that, they're not going to have tutorials. But at least like with PUBG, when I played PUBG, it made sense to me. It was a third-person shooter. Like, I understand third-person shooters. I get that part of it. But with like Fortnite and the building and the goofing, it's like, it's too weird for me. I'm too old. Prue. It did not go well. But like that being said, I don't have any problem with him playing that. I mean, I guess I don't like necessarily the online stuff, but like I didn't talk to any humans while I was there. I saw plenty of them because they killed me and did they dabbed and flossed all over my corpse. But
the thing is, at this point right now, as we record this show, Fortnite is so permeated in pop culture that you should have at least by now absorbed by osmosis the tutorial. You don't need to know it. You should just know exactly what you're supposed to do, where you're supposed to go, and how you're supposed to shoot people. But obviously that's not the case.
Well, that's not entirely true. Like, I can have a conversation with kids on my baseball team about Fortnite, having never played it. Because, yes, because of its pervasiveness, like, I understand it. But then, like, you know, you could explain how to change the oil in my car. I know how to do that, like, conceptually, but I don't think I could practically get under the hood and, you know, get the drip pan and pull all the oil out. I don't know what I'm pulling. I don't know what I'm doing. It's like the actual mechanics of it they're not intuitive. And so it's like I open one of the chests and all this stuff pops out and it's like, cool, shiny things. I should probably pick all this stuff up. And then all of a sudden when I pick something up, one of my weapons goes flying out. It's like, oh, okay, well, which one's better? I don't know what I'm looking at. Well, this one's green. I like green. I think those blue ones are better than the green ones if I'm thinking of, you know, the general Diablo-style loot system. Oh, there's a purple. I should probably have the purple instead of a blue one. How does it shoot? Is it a shotgun? Is it a rifle? Is it a sniper? I don't know. This bomb is sticky. What does that mean? Like, it's just weird, Prue. You should download it and play it.
I probably will never play it. I don't think I'll ever play.
You know, PUBG achievements just went live.
I don't think I'll play those either.
Yeah. I don't know if I don't think I mean, my one match, I don't think that would have unlocked anything. Because only some of them are retroactively popping. So you still have to, there's still quite a bit of PUBG-ing to do if you had played in the past, and now that you are waiting for the achievement list to come out. Well, it's out, and some of your progress counts, but certainly not all of it. I know a lot of people who had to go back and work on that some more. So we're at that point where it's like, you know, we can't really plan for what we're doing because we won't find out for another 12 hours what we're doing.
I am very excited, though. I'm ready. I'm ready for my new list.
Are you aiming to be in the cut? Like, your goal is to move on?
I would like to. I'm not going to kill myself to do it. And because last week and this week have been pretty brutal, I think I've won both of them. But
so that helps.
Between the individual achievements, I think I'm only at 14 or 15 or so.
Sure. So then plus 10 points for the win. That puts you at 24.
Yeah.
I think that's hovering around the cutoff right now.
It may be. And if I get like a semi-doable list, like I'm absolutely going to hit 10 at some point. But if I could do my whole list, I'll do my whole list. If it's not a 20-hour achievement for the top 3 or whatever. I'm going to try. But I'm not going to kill myself. Plus, and I was talking to this with some people last night, it's kind of tough to do UHH and D-Task at the same time.
Oh, I bet. I forgot. I just looked at you guys on the leaderboard. Yeah. I can't believe you're still in there. Yeah. That's awesome.
So, you know, a lot of my time is spent, that's why I played those 3 games that I talked about, those quick, easy 3 games. I have to get just points a lot of the time. And, you know, so I can't spend 5 hours on one achievement, you know, 2 days a week. I can only do that once or whatever, you know. So it's kind of a balancing act at this point as well. If I could spend all my time on UHH, I would do much better. But I prefer UHH. It's more fun. It's more enjoyable. But trying to stay in there as long as we can. So we'll see what happens, and I'm really going to push for it.
Nice. I'm Kronos approached me and pitched me an idea for another contest, which I'm taking his concept and kind of merging it with one of my concepts. And then I pitched another concept of another TA event that we could have. I'm really excited. I don't know when these are going to show up, but I got so many good ideas, Brew.
Nah,
Like
it's good to hear.
a lot of fun things that we could be doing, and I just need some coding expertise. So Z to Z community, like you got some good fun stuff coming up. Hopefully we can get all this stuff cracking. So that's like 3 ideas now that are in the pipeline. Oh boy,
I look forward to
I'm
them.
super pumped.
I definitely look forward to them.
I'll definitely announce them when they actually launch, because one of them I think is gearing up for early next year or some point. So, huzzah! Prue, we said a short show. I'm looking at an hour and a half
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, that's how it always seems to go. But it was good
Bingo.
stuff. It was good chatting and lots of UHH talk. Very top.
Like I said, I haven't played that much video games in a long time. It was glorious.
Yeah.
I've been seeing a therapist for the depression stuff, and I'm also now medicated. And so he asked me how things are going, and it's like, do you think the medication's working? I'm like, well, I'm on a really low dose, so it's either the medication or like getting to play a ton of video games. I don't know what's making me feel better, but
Yeah.
I'll just mix all this together because I'm feeling pretty good. So we'll see. But that's going to do it for this show, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Hope you enjoyed it. We've had some fun here tonight. We mentioned rating reviews. You can do whatever you want at this point. I don't really care. But you should come over to our website, z2z.com, and you can find the show there. Forums, we're still running contests. This month, we got the Tomb Raider month because Shadow of the Tomb Raider coming out here soon. Is that next week? Or is it 2 weeks?
I'm not
I think
sure.
it's next week. Shadow of the Tomb Raider, the end of the trilogy of the rebooted Lara Croft. I wanted to play the first Tomb Raider, the story. I did all the multiplayer on the 360, and so I was like, I'll just wait because I don't have to worry about other people. And so I never experienced that reboot story, and I definitely want to play that. And a bunch of those games just went on sale. Obviously, by the time you hear this, you don't have an opportunity to get those. But so Tomb Raider month, we got Toad-Style Venom for the gamer tag. A lot of stuff in there. I'm about halfway done with that tag just from UHH alone, which is great. Jumping all over the place. And then of course the RTDL. You can always jump in, get on it, get the list, and double up on your UHH fun. So with that, on behalf of Prue, this has been Brandon. To all you achievement hunters and Gamerscore junkies out there, thank you so much for listening, and we'll catch you next episode.
See you guys.